Okay. It's a little bit early yet, guys. We're just practicing hosting spaces because it's Johan's turn to host it this week. So he's just making sure that everything.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. He's just making sure that everything's correctly set up. Usually it'd be Adrian sorting this out, but he's not able to join us this week, so we're just checking that everything's set up right. But we'll be starting. What is the time now? Probably in around sort of 5 minutes, I'd say. Oh, we can announce the poll results as well this week. Let me just double check.
Oh yeah, it's finishing today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean there was like over 150 people voted, and it's pretty decisive.
Yeah, I'd say there is a clear majority.
Yeah. So we'll have a bit of discussion about that and get everyone's thoughts on that when we kick things off. And then obviously we do our regular updates on design progress and what's been happening there during the week. And then we'll open it up to questions. So yeah, just give it a couple of minutes and we'll make a start. Are you still abroad at the minute, Johan?
Yep.
You're still there.
Still dealing with my throat infection as well.
Nice. Has it improved at all?
Yeah, it's better at the moment while I'm on the meds, but I hope it just doesn't come back afterwards like it did the last 3 times.
Yeah, couldn't be much worse, could it? Christ.
I'm sure it could.
Yeah, there's something going around sort of schools in the UK at the minute. It's like some sort of strange. They think it's like a COVID variant or something. My two nephews have just got it, but apparently it's doing the runs around all sorts of schools at the minute. But it's only with kids, so that's weird.
I hope it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's like I haven't really looked at it, so I'm probably not qualified to even talk about it. But it's something like rashes or something, and sore throats, the typical sort of symptoms, and then you get that as well. So yeah, strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, we'll let a few more people join. And yeah, regular sort of update as usual. Then we'll talk about the poll that we hosted last week following last week's AMA. Pretty conclusive results there, but we'll go over and talk about it with you guys. And then, as I say, go through the updates and then open up for questions. I know we've got some questions lined up. I'll have to get Discord open for that. But it's been an interesting week for development and things going on Tech Alchemy's side. So there's a bit of an update to give you guys on that front. And then next week we should have a even more substantial sort of update with some stuff to actually physically show you guys as well. following our meeting Tuesday, I think, next week. Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because I think I talked about it last week. They've put together their finalized sprint. Well, no, they finished that this week. Their sprint 1, sprint 2 design phases within Figma. They finished those up. They're just being evaluated by the actual developers working on it. And obviously, you don't want to show something off that's not accurate or displaying nonsense. So they're just looking over that. But then they're going to present that alongside with everything that they worked on, sort of admin user side of things, early infrastructure setup, and they're going to sort of present that to us next Tuesday, and then we should be able to have a lot more to show you guys on the Friday following. But yeah, like I say, we've got a decent amount to go through this week. But yeah, next week should be really exciting. And it's really interesting looking at it all sort of take shape. Like they physically have something to show us and interact with at the minute. So it's exciting stuff. Just give it a couple more minutes, I think. But Adrian sends his regards. I don't know if anyone's seen him on Discord. He's sent pictures and things, but he's on holiday with family at the minute. But he should be about next week. But he obviously sends his regards, and we've been sort of bouncing back and forward with him, talking about the updates and things, and he's excited as well. So it's good stuff. I reckon. What do you think, Jan? I think we can make a start, can't we?
Yeah. It's almost 5 past, so
we're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So hello everyone. Welcome to another Kounotori AMA. Good to see you all. Hope you guys have had a decent week. It's been extremely hot in the UK, very muggy, and everyone's working hard. But yeah, hopefully you've had a good week. We've got a couple of things to go over. As I was saying just a bit earlier, if you came to the AMA a bit early, we've got general update to go through with on the design front, and then we've got obviously the poll that we set up last week to go through and talk about the results and what that means. And if you guys want any input on that, we'll open up to questions afterwards. So that'd be great to hear your feedback and thoughts and opinions on that. But for the general update, we've been obviously in contact with Tech Alchemy as we are every week. The designs for Sprint 1 and Sprint 2, that side of the phases have been completed, and they're sort of accessible within Figma. They're yet to be sort of finalized because, as I say, the developers working on the front and back end of the initial stage of development have just got to finalize a few things. But we should. I know I said last week we should have had them this week, but they've said that they're going to present it with a lot more sort of additional information on what they've been putting together in terms of infrastructure and the user login. What's the word? Interaction and how that will work and what it will look like. And we should have some stuff to show you with that next week. So unfortunately, we can't show anything this week, but we can show something a bit more substantial even than I previously proposed next week. So that is good. We've seen the early sort of stages of it, and what they've shown already is really exciting. It's interesting to see the early stages of the centralized exchange, really taking shape and physically being able to interact with it. That's awesome. So they've currently been sort of focused on like I say, the user interface and the login, sign in, KYC process, all that sort of early first interaction with the user. They're working with a company, SumSub, who they've used many times in the past. They're a professional company that deal with onboarding and verification, and I think they're active in something like 220 countries. But they're looking at them. They're the real deal. They're a fantastic company, and we've seen sort of early concepts of what it will look like in relation to our user login sign up page as well, the sort of landing page. And it's looking really good, looking really professional. So we're really happy with that. And then also we're in the process ourselves with setting up an AWS account, which basically is how we'll deal with server maintenance and running the servers. There are things that we're able to do with that where it cheapens the cost of doing so, running these servers for the first sort of 6 months. So that's great that we've got access to that as well. But they seem really formidable, and we're just in the final stage of looking through that, and then we'll pass those details on to Tech Alchemy, and they can have those details and be able to interact with what they've put together with that setup. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much everything they've been working on. As I say, so they've covered the design stuff. They've worked more onto that. They've cracked on with the initial landing page and login, sign up, KYC, capture, and they've got the KYC programs working on that as well. So that's all underway and really exciting. And hopefully, as I say, we'll be able to show something off physically next week. Now, obviously, we'll open up for questions and we can talk about that as well with you guys. But I think what I'd like to is move on to the vote, the poll that we opened up at the end of the AMA last week. So we had over 150 votes, which is great. The vast majority, I think it was around 84 votes, I think we saw. They've opted to push the max transaction limit from 2 trillion KTO in a single transaction to 10 trillion KTO. Now, the idea behind this, we did discuss it during the AMA last week, and following the AMA, we had a really good, helpful discussion with everyone in the Discord. But the idea behind this is, you know, we set this project up in very different market conditions to where we are now. I think opening up this max transaction, and I think looking at the votes and the overwhelming decision here, I think the idea is to open up to larger investors so that we can appeal to these investors, you know, which I think is crucial when navigating a bear market. It's very different conditions to what we launched in, and I think this is very much going to not only help us and ease off the pressure with what's the volume? Sorry, it's going to ease up the pressure with volume, but also it's I think it will be an appealing thing to new investors, and it will match well with our 10 trillion max wallet that we now have in place as well. Now, I want to stress as well that tax is obviously unaffected by this. It works in the same as the same process as selling 2 trillion 5 times currently now. There's no difference there. If you're selling 10 trillion at any one time, you're going to be taxed the same amount, but it allows buying 10 trillion in a single transaction or selling 10 trillion in a single transaction. It won't come up with, you know, an error or physically stop the investor from purchasing, which is what we saw previously. And from feedback we'd heard from investors in and out of the space, apparently that was something that was a bit off-putting to some people. So it's something we've taken into account, and it wasn't a light decision. It wasn't something we made lightly, rather. But we thought it was very important to open up to you guys because it is a big decision. And like I say, we've seen a decisive vote for that change. So again, we'll open up to discussion. You guys can jump in or jump in on the Discord and let your thoughts be known about that. But I think that's pretty much it in terms of covering that change and covering the update. So I think we can open up for questions. Let's see. Unless anyone wants to jump in and ask a question, I'll just search for them.
I just want to jump in and say that in case anyone is wondering when the change of max transaction will go in power, pretty much by the end of today, UK time, I will get it swapped over so that it reflects the community vote.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is following this AMA. I'll put out a little announcement and at everyone and say that the changes will happen by 12 midnight.
Yeah.
Right. Questions. Sorry, Discord's being very slow. Oh, that's right. Right. We had a number of questions from one of our holders, Gerard. He was saying, right. Right. Okay. So I'll start off reading these off, and then anyone, if you've got any questions, please jump in. I'll just answer these questions, and then we'll open up. And if you guys want to jump in, or we'll look on the Discord, then we'll come to you then. But what else has Tech Alchemy built? That I think we got to be a little bit careful about naming other projects and other things. But you can definitely take a look at their website. It's techalchemy.co, and you'll see there they've got a number of recommendations from brokerage firms and various other sort of huge projects as well. They have in confidence and in privacy talked to us about the projects that they worked with, and they've worked with some really quite substantial ones, some really interesting ideas, such as incorporating NFTs into properties, and various sort of new and interesting ideas, and big sort of large scale crypto projects. But again, I think we got to be a little bit careful about naming some of them, just because I know that they were also a bit private about it. But yeah, you can certainly go and search it up. They're a fantastic company, and they've got a huge wealth of knowledge when it comes to crypto and when it comes to mining Ethereum and working on large scale professional projects. What else have we got here? NFTs. Any more NFTs potentially coming? We have obviously. I think this is something we've talked about in the past, but yeah, I think the NFTs that we have currently set out for the most loyal and the older sort of generation of holders, those will obviously continue to work as a non-fungible token, and you'll be able to purchase and sell them and reap the benefits that they'll hold on the centralized exchange. We will look at future NFTs potentially. We love the artist, we love the concept of them, but I don't think they'll have as great impact as these original ones. But yeah, it's definitely something we'd be interested in and rewarding holders. What else we got to NFT perks? NFT perks. I mean, we've set them out on the white paper. We've talked about the NFT perks. We obviously need to work with Tech Alchemy on those concepts and make sure that there aren't any ways of manipulating things. That's going to be sort of more set in stone when we're sort of in the later stage towards sort of alpha and beta phase of development. But what we have set out on the white paper explaining the benefits of holding these NFTs is what we're planning on incorporating. Have we ever been rugged? Yeah, Johan, do you want to answer this one?
Yeah, more than one separate us collectively being in the same projects together.
Yeah.
That's what inspired us to create our own project. Go on.
Oh no. So I was just gonna let you go, but yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, anyone who's been rugged is a horrible thing. We've been there. It's part and parcel of the reason we set out to do a project that is as transparent and open and physically impossible for us to try and cheat you guys as we could, the way we set things up. But yeah, as I think Johan was saying, yeah, we've definitely experienced had bad experience in the past. We've had good experiences as well, but as I say, we've taken those experiences and implemented that into the projects that you guys are now currently experiencing. What else we got? Is there a community donation set up for the exchange? We do have a donations wallet. It is something we need to. I think we've made it public in announcements in the past. I think it's something we'll have to post again. I think is it Adrian has access to that, doesn't he, Johan? I think. Oh, struggling to hear you, buddy.
How about now?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, sorry. I think I had my finger on the microphone. Yeah, Adrian has access to the wallet, and the wallet address can be found under the channel called addresses on the main Discord server.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to post that and make that a bit more well known. But any donations or any help that you guys would be willing to give that would sort of alleviate some of the stress on funds would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, it's definitely something we'll make public, and yeah, if you guys could help in any way, then that would be amazing. It's something we'll leave out. Obviously, you don't have to donate, but that would be very helpful. What else have we got? When will the contract be renounced? We've talked about in the past renouncing it with the launch of the centralized exchange. That's, I think, what the plan is. Obviously, nothing's set in stone, but and we'll put that to the community if they want to see something different. Then that's also something we can explore. But the main idea behind renouncing the contract is it allows us to list on exchanges easier. It's obviously you have security things in place with renouncing a contract. It stops us being able to manipulate the contracts anyway, even though we have these safeguards set in place already that stop us doing anything malicious. It's just that extra bit of a security on top. But I think we're looking to renounce the contract with the launch of the centralized exchange. But yeah, we'll definitely be talking to the community, involving them in that decision as well. Because I know it's something that we've also heard from within the community that they typically don't actually like projects that renounce their contract, because there are benefits to not renouncing your contract. So it allows us to do everything that we've implemented in like the change that we've literally just sanctioned, changing max transaction from 2 to 10 trillion. If you renounce, that's not something you're capable of doing. So yeah, it's very much on the roadmap, and very much we had in mind to renounce the contract with the launch of the centralized exchange, but it's something we will involve the community in and finalize with you guys as well. What else we got? Any projects that caught your eye? So it's something we've talked about. Any projects that have caught our eye or piqued our interest. Market conditions a bit sketchy at the minute, but we are keeping our eye on a number of projects. It's probably a little bit too early to talk about them because we've reached out, but not really made proper formed partnerships to the point where we could say, yes, we're looking to list them on the exchange. But certainly we're keeping our eye out. I think, and absolutely, that's part and parcel of why we're setting this up. It gives new projects, new legitimate projects, a safe place to be tradable, and it's something that we would have benefited ourselves from, launching and being legitimate and having everything in place that, all the necessary safeguards that proves that we are indeed a legitimate project, which is, far and a few between these days. So yeah, definitely something we're keeping an eye out for. What else we got? Cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency? What is it to you guys? Why are you interested in crypto? Well, for me, it's absolutely the sort of evolution of dealing, exchanging goods and being able to do transactions at sort of lightning speed. I think it's clearly the future. I think anyone who understands, that we're in such a sort of infant stage of where cryptocurrency is and where it's going to be, I think can understand that the potential for growth with cryptocurrency is enormous. And so for me, it's just recognizing the fact that we're in such a young stage of cryptocurrency, and the potential is massive for growth. And I think in terms of staking, in terms of use case, we're only just now starting to see the real potential of what crypto is capable of doing. I know we've seen, some of the mistakes unfold and things, regarding stable coins and staking over the last sort of 2 or 3 months. But that just allows us to build on top of that and improve what's already come before. I don't know what your opinions are, Johan.
Well, very similar actually. As I said, we're in the infant stages, and by the looks of it, crypto is here to stay, despite all the identical sort of sentiment that predominates the space during every single bear market. People keep saying everything is going to zero. Crypto is a scam. Sure, there are scams within crypto. There are scams within any space, but that doesn't mean that the whole space is dead and it's never coming back. It has always come back previous times, and there's no reason why it shouldn't this time.
Yeah, absolutely agree. What else do we have? What does marketing have in terms of plans for gaining more exposure? Well, of course, we've definitely talked about this in the past. We'd love to put more money into allocation of marketing funds right now, but I don't think, and it's something that we've addressed a number of times with the community and yourselves. I don't think now is the time to do that. I don't think there's a whole lot of impacts that you can have now in terms of exposure. We're working on various campaigns, and we're working on various methods of reaching out to new investors. This change to the max transaction is one of those, but I think the best thing we can do in a market situation, that we're seeing now is crack on, build the centralized exchange, and develop something in a bad market situation, and then reap the benefits when we see a big uptick, and that's when we'll allocate more funds towards marketing. It's not that we aren't putting any funds towards marketing, it's just you have to be what's the word? You have to be a bit careful how much money you could spend on, say, influencers or partnerships during this period, because we've seen it time and time again, and you'll notice it with other projects as well. It's just not having the impact that it would have, say, 4 or 5 months ago. Currently, there's a lot of hesitation. I think we're seeing a little bit of that, improve over the last 2 or 3 weeks. But there is a lot of hesitation within the market and within not just the crypto market, but within the stock market and things in general. But yeah, as I say, it's something we'd love to do, but I just don't think it's the right course of action right now. What else we got? Oh, come on, Discord. Can you see the questions, Johan? My Discord's just spinning.
I'm seeing a question about when max transaction will be increased. There will be an announcement about it, and we'll state the time so people are aware of it in advance. It will probably be fairly soon, probably by the end of the day. So keep an eye out for the announcement.
Yeah. Right, okay. No, Q&A is back. Right. Consistent. What are the plans for consistent energy being brought into the project? Yep, obviously partnerships and marketing plans, something that we've, participated in before. We've got plans and we've reached out to people, in the last few weeks. But again, as I say, we've just got to be reserved in how we spend our marketing funds. The vast majority of funds are being allocated towards development, and hopefully, within the development stages that we're seeing and the progress that we're seeing already, if we can show that off and build towards the outreach that that we've already seen, then hopefully the project will speak for itself as well. I think what we're doing and what we're building is no small feat, and I think as soon as anyone recognizes that, and is familiar with being in small market cap projects, then it becomes a pretty clear decision that this project's got legs. And it's I know we've heard back from you guys, it's not your typical project in how it's set up and how we've maintained ourselves. We've the price is the price at the minute, but we've held considerably well during this crypto crash. And I know that people are watching the project for that reason alone. But yeah, as I say, the project itself needs to speak for itself, and the developments that we should be able to show off a little bit more of that next week. The development is really taking shape now, and I love the fact that we can now actually see an interactable user startup landing base, and be able to interact with it. And as I say, KYC and capture is all working as well. So it's really interesting stuff. What else we got? Again, if anyone wants to jump in, don't let me stop you. That'd be great if you've got any questions, or if you just wanted to talk about the, the change from 2 to 10 trillion. I can't see any more questions. Q&A.
Yeah, I can't see any more questions either. If someone has questions, you can request to speak here or just post them on Discord.
Well, I think, as I say, I think the thing to stress is that, as I said, the price is where the price is an incredible opportunity for for someone, a new investor, coming across, a low market cap coin, and then seeing the amount of progress that we've already built, and who we're working with, the community involved. Obviously, you guys are incredibly knowledgeable. We've seen that in internal discussions and discussions in the AMAs in the past. I think it's interesting whenever we see a new holder or a new member join, say, the Discord or Telegram. I think I've had personal messages in the past saying they've been really impressed with sort of the interactions that they've had, and that they're really sort of thinking, "Oh, this is very different from most Discords and most crypto Discords, where the general themes just seems to be when and and sort of your standard comments." Whereas in our Discord, I think we've got a really knowledgeable group of people, and we've definitely got a good amount of people that understand what we're trying to build. Oh, we've got a requested speaker. Oh, that's our bad. I think we were asking people to speak, and then people were requesting, but they couldn't. Sorry, apologies. It's usually Adrian who hosts these, so it's our first time actually hosting the buttons.
Is this working? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, it's working.
Okay, good. I don't know if you guys saw Owl's question. He said, are there any contingency plans to ensure the continuity of KTO's roadmap if something happens to one or two of our developers?
I mean, are you talking about, say, if one of us was ill or something?
Yeah, like say one of you got hit by a bus or something,
We obviously have Genosis set up with 4 out of 5 signatures. Obviously, that's a very grim scenario, but totally capable of happening. So if we've got 4 or 5 out of 5 signatures, that means we're still able to complete a transaction and still able to access marketing funds and still carry on and function. Obviously, we'd have to change things up. But yeah, we obviously it's something that we've thought about. To be honest, what we'd probably look at doing in that speculative sort of situation is we'd probably end up changing the Genosis, and putting a new one together and having another person enter as a key signature. but yeah, it's unfortunately it's something that you do have to think about, because life is life and these things happen. But yeah, there are things we can do in if that was to happen, if that occurred.
Right.
Yeah, if one of us got hit by a bus, it wouldn't render all of the funds unusable, if that's what people think. Genosis can have, like, even if one of us is missing, we can still access the funds, and if one of us is missing temporarily or even permanently, it can be changed so a person can get kicked out from Genosis if like 4 of the others sign at least. So that wouldn't be a problem.
Gotcha. Okay. There's another question here. Have you considered any kind of launch pads like Binance or Gate or something like that just to gather funds for development?
I know we've reached out to Binance, because they've previously funded smaller exchange projects in the past. I don't think we actually heard back from them, but yeah, it's something that we're continuing to look at, because I know that's a genuine way of gathering funds. So yeah, absolutely something that we've been looking at and doing. Let me just have a look.
I don't see any more.
Well, no. Well, like I say, unless anyone wants to jump in, I think what would be helpful is if you guys had a discussion in Discord, and we sort of opened up there. As I say, we've got the announcement coming out later following this AMA, specifying that tonight we'll see that change and what time that'll be. The change being 2 trillion to 10 trillion in a single transaction. I think I think what was really helpful was that following the AMA last week, there was a bit of a sort of overall discussion with a good amount of the holders sort of giving their piece and saying why it was a good decision or why they perhaps wouldn't like the decisions go ahead. But all of those things, we took into consideration and will continue to take in consideration. And this decision, it's not something that's entirely, set in stone forever. We can always, have a vote in the future to revert back or whatever. But I think, given the market conditions and given the feedback that we've had from you guys, I think it's very much the correct decision. I personally think so. I personally voted for it, to increase that max transaction. I think it's a very good move, to help us sort of navigate these sort of worsened conditions. And people were asking about improving volume. Well, this is one of the ways of hopefully doing that and opening it up to a larger investor base when you've got less people typically interested in crypto, currently anyway. For now, we'll see what happens when we see the massive uptick that's inevitable, in the coming months. That's the thing with crypto, if I would never try and day trade it. It's just hold crypto for as long as possible. And you've seen all these stories, and they're 110% true. All these early Ethereum and Bitcoin holders, they're laughing all the way to the bank now. And I think that's very much the case for crypto. If you're invested in the idea and the concept and where it's going, you believe that it's going to be incorporated into most mainstream aspects of transferring money and paying for goods, then it's a sound investment. It's something to put into a small sort of savings and sit on and give it 5 years. And you're more than likely to see a good return. So, but anyway, no financial advice. But unless anyone wants to jump in, I think we can pretty much finish it there. What I'll do, as I said, I'll put together a bit of a announcement talking about when we're going to implement the change and what time, and then also I'll just put a brief review of the updates and everything that we've gone through. But I think we're pretty much there. What do you think, Johan?
Yeah, I think we've had questions today, and if there's no more questions, I think we can close it here.
I think we're looking good. Any more questions you guys have, feel free to put them in Q&A and we'll come back to them either next week or within the week. We'll just reply on Discord. But thank you very much, everyone who's turned up and asked questions, and hopefully you've enjoyed what you've heard. As I say, interesting week for updates. We're finally seeing development kick off, and it's really exciting stuff. Glad to see it moving forward. And we should have some more concepts and put together a bit of a description of what's been going on next week for you guys. And yeah, been fantastic. Cheers, guys.
I think so.